Hey guys, Romaskitchen is back with the best carrot cake recipe. So if you want to see how a carrot cake gets made in Romaskitchen, stick around right after this intro.
Girl, you better can cook. Ticket that you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
So we're going to start off by using 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I have 1 cup already nicely sieved in my container and the other cup in the strainer because I want to show you guys what I'm actually doing. So to this I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of baking soda, also 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then I'll be going in with just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I love my carrot loaf or my carrot cake nicely spiced, so I'll be adding also 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves and 1 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. I do not like a carrot loaf or a carrot cake that's overpowering with all the spices, so those measurements are perfect. Now I'm just going to run all of this through my strainer to get it nice and airy to put my dry ingredients aside. So this is it guys, and I'm going to be using my whisk to get all the dry ingredients nice and together, and then I'm going to put this aside and prepare my wet ingredients. So first up, I'll be adding 3 eggs to my container, and I've removed the eyes of these 3 eggs. Next, I'm going to be adding 1 1/2 cups of granulated sugar, and this sugar is very soft. It's called baking sugar. It's very soft. It's almost like a powder, almost. Next, I'll be adding in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now the brown sugar that I have is it's almost like molasses sugar, so I don't want to add too much of it, so I'm just adding a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Then I'll be going in with 1 cup of oil. Use the oil of your choice. I'm just using some canola oil here. Next, I cannot leave out my vanilla, so I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of vanilla here. Then I'll be going in with 1 teaspoon of rose water. Yes guys, I love using rose water to bake. And then I'm just going to be adding in some lemon. I always add lemon in everything when I'm baking. That includes egg, because I do not like the rawness, so I'm just going to be using the juice from half a lemon. If you have lemon powder, you can add some lemon. You can add a teaspoon of lemon powder, or if you have the lemon juice extract, you can go ahead and just add in 1 teaspoon of that also. But a half of a lemon, if you have that too, is perfect. Alright guys, so now I'm just mixing everything together. I'm trying my best to get the particles of this brown sugar to be nicely dissolved, because as compared to the granulated sugar, this one is really hard to mix out. So that's what I'm doing here while trying to get all the other ingredients nice and together. Then I'll be adding my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients. So what I'm doing here guys, I'm using my spatula to try to press the particles of the brown sugar against the container, just to rub them out a little so that they can get nice and dissolved, because the hand mixer didn't really get out all the particles of the brown sugar. I'm just going to be adding the dry ingredients now to the wet ingredients, but I'll be adding it a half at a time. I'm going to be adding the first half, then I'll be folding it in, then I'll be adding in the second half and folding it in just the same. At this point, you can use your hand mixer, you can use your whisk, or whatever you're using to get all this nice and together. All I'm doing is I'm just going to be using a fork to get all this mixture off my spatula, simply because my hands are now tired, and I'm going to be using my hand mixer to complete this, and I'm just going to be using my hand mixer for like 2 minutes. And how easy was that? This consistency is perfect. I'm now coming back to my spatula just to scrape the sides of my container, to get that little dry ingredients that's there all nice and incorporated. Texture perfect. Now, in case you're wondering when the carrot will come in, now is the time. I'm adding 2.5 to 3 cups of carrot to my mixture, and this I use the smallest part of my grater, the smallest shredding part of my grater, to get my carrot like this. So just like my wet dry ingredients, I'll be adding in the carrot a half at a time, then all I'll be doing is folding it in just to get everything nice and together. Alright guys, this is it. It's now time for me to add this to my container to bake. Consistency perfect. Now my loaf tin has been nicely greased, and I'm just going to be going in with my mixture. You can add as much as you can in the size loaf tin that you're using, ensuring not to fill this up too much. And if you have a little left, you can make a cupcake or two, so don't worry about it. Just get that as much as you can in your container, and your oven should be on at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, nice and preheating. Now I'm going to be baking for 35 to 40 minutes, or until I insert a knife or a toothpick in the middle of my cake, in the center of my cake, and it comes out nice and clean. So here you have it, guys. This is my carrot loaf. If your knife or toothpick doesn't come out clean, you can add it back to your oven for an extra 5 or 10 minutes and then it will be perfect. But mine is perfect right now and it was only in for 45 minutes. So I decorated this, guys, with some homemade cream cheese frosting. The link to that will be in the description box below and also somewhere here. And I just added some roasted coconut flakes, guys. Now this is how my carrot cake looks on the inside. Looking good, tasting good. Definitely try this recipe. Look at how moist this looks. Cream cheese frosting looks very, very good also. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on. Until next video.